Happy Guild Wars week, everybody, and happy super busted troop in the event shop. This is going to be a pretty interesting week. Of course, since it's Guild Wars, that means I'll be streaming every day. So all of these times are correct as far as my streaming. However, the days in between, I'll be streaming kind of randomly. If you want to catch my Guild Wars fights, make sure you jump into my Discord. You'll see whenever I'm streaming right away. Link will be in the description. But let's jump on in to this weekly preview and talk about all the goodies we got going on in this Valentine's week. Let's go! Kicking things off this week, we have Guild Wars! Guild Wars! Which means you are setting all of your defenses with unique troops so that way you get the bonus. Color does not matter for your defense, so set any color that you want. Attack, of course, you do want to pick the specific color. Jump into your sentinels, get everything maxed because you're a good guildmate and you want your friends to like you. So prepare your butts for Guild Wars. I will be streaming every single day. Normal stream schedule, but then the off days, it'll be kinda random. So join my Discord if you want to know exactly when that's going on. In the Glory Shop, we got Knight Captain with the coolest frickin' art of all time. It's like Captain Marvel in armor. Holy crap. This troop is kinda whatever though. So it's giving someone a barrier and then also giving a bunch of armor to that person. If they're a knight, you get double the effect, so double the armor and double the barrier. No, just single barrier. The traits are regular. There's nothing too crazy here. All knights usually have some kind of skull reduction here. This is not the best. It's, you know, you could... The way the game I imagine would want you to use this is pair it up with Guard's avatar so you can pump its armor a lot and then blam it for a lot, but that's not really all that effective. So this troop, not the best, super good art, but I would recommend you at least get one because you always want to get the new Glory troop. In the event keys this time around, we've got Sword's Edge troops. Sword's Edge, the kingdom of people wearing way too much armor and being useless, except for this week. This week there is a special bonus inside the event chests, and it is only in the event chests, and it is maybe the best troop ever? It's kinda sick. So Sir Quentin Hadley, of course, is in the chests for the event keys. It is only available in event keys right now. So if you are looking to get this troop, event keys is the only place you can get it. As far as what its traits are, all knights 50% mana, so it's the knight captain if you will. Does some skull reduction, which is whatever. All of this stuff is okay. All knights getting 50% armor means that the knight class is 10% less useless, so that's cool. But this is disgusting right here. So this is a converter that does purple into yellow and then green into skulls. So it's a normal skull converter, but then it also does damage to 2 people. So even if this was just the converter thing, this troop would already be good, but now that it's also doing damage to 2 people, this gets like kind of disgusting. Like this spellcast is one of the most effective spellcasts that I've ever seen in the game in terms of efficiency, damage output. It's like kind of disgusting. Like I am in love with this troop. I literally even haven't used it yet, but it is disgusting on paper. The problem that I see with it, if anything, is that the converts are both kind of weird, but I think we can get around this because this pairs up nicely with other people. And you can kind of see who it pairs nicely with based on this section here, the Knight Beast part. So if you paired this up with a Forest Guardian, for instance, Forest Guardian is basically needing yellow and creating a lot of green. It is converting away what Forest Guardian normally turns into skulls, but it's also going to give barrier to this troop since this is a beast type. Forest Guardian will give this troop barrier. So those two actually should play pretty nicely together. I'm going to experiment with that heavily, but this troop is disgusting. Really, really, really good. So please, if at all you have event keys to spare, get yourself a Sir Quentin Hadley and enjoy your life. Everything else in the event keys is kind of whatever. So Champion of Anu, Champion of Guard, I wouldn't go chasing either of those. Ysabelle can be useful for delving because she can turn High King Irongut's attack into damage and also raise his attack, so that part's kind of fun. Shadow Dragon is meh. Nothing else in here is really all that good. So Sir Quentin Hadley is now running this town of Sword's Edge. Open up your event keys today to get yours. In the Soul Forge this time around, there is some decent stuff. Wolfgarok unfortunately is not one of them, neither is Champion of Anu. However, Aquaticus and Shabanu are both in here, which are both really solid. I would probably say Shaba is the priority create this time around. Shaba is able to basically make a lot of teams work just by creating a crap ton of mana. Super nice troop to have. Not necessarily the most reliable troop for PvP or Guild Wars, however they are just disgusting to create explore teams with and things like that. So if you don't have yourself a Shabanu, now would be a good time to pick one up. Aquaticus would be the other one. Of course, it's just Water and Furnace. It just does a lot of damage and then explodes half the blue gems on the board. It also submerges everybody on your team when you get a 4/5. So both of these are solid. Shaba would be the one that I would prioritize over Aquaticus. However, both of them are good. Do you need some weapons for the Knight class event? Because they are both available to craft this time around. And they are both kinda whatever. So this one is creating a mix based on Sword's Edge allies, this one's creating a mix based on Knight allies. Cane Sword would have the higher priority over Edgeblade just simply because the amount of overlap of Knight troops is stupid high, so getting this one is hyper specific to just Sword's Edge, however Cane Sword will allow you to get any of them. Neither of these are the highest priority craft, but of the two of them the Cane Sword would be the highest one. I would not necessarily recommend you go nuts. If you're going to have to craft one of these two, I'd say the Cane Sword is the one. But admittedly, Knights and Sword's Edge troops are not necessarily the best teams to try and build around. So they're in there, but that's it as far as the weapons go. And that will take us to the spoil section. On Tuesday, it is Silver Necropolis. Silver Necropolis is the land of blessy stuff. This is the team that I use to smash on through. It'll take you all the way to 500 if you feel like doing that. It should also be pretty good in general since Glaycion's going to give you a crap ton of damage even for the earlier levels. So this team able to smash on through all the way. The only other thing that I will mention is that during the Faction Assault event itself, you could be snagging yourself everyone's favorite weapon, which is when it shows up Life and Death. So Life and Death is available in the Silver Necropolis Faction Assault shop, so if you buy up to tier 5, you will be able to get yourself a Life and Death weapon, so you can join the ranks of the world in being a piece of crap. Enjoy yourself on Tuesday. That is Silver Necropolis. On Wednesday, we get ourselves a pet rescue for a new heart pet. It's literally named less than 3, so it is a heart pet through and through. It's this creepy looking heart with a heart pupil and a nipple on its knee. It is this thing. It is oddly disturbing. So make sure you grab this pet on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we get ourselves the Knight class event. So historically, I've said this class is bad, and it is. Still bad. All the traits are bad, and the talent trees are generally all bad. The only thing that's useful is that eventually it gets banishment. Razor armor can be somewhat useful. Starting with the barrier, totally fine. So this class, not the best. However, the new troop being released does make life a little more interesting. I am going to play around with this class a little bit more. However, for the event, this is the team that I plan to use. The Cane Sword weapon to make some mana. This will also barrier yourself every time you cast it. We've got Quentin Hadley to do some damage, Gwayne for some mana, and Queen Ysabelle to just do some nukes with some mana generation and some attack pumping for your top troop. This team should be able to slam on through all the way. However, if you're a lower level player, you could use this team, which is replace this weapon at the top with any yellow weapon that you have that does as much damage as possible. It's the way that this team's going to work. So put whatever you have up top that does as much damage as possible. Sir Gwayne will create more troops for you as you need them. These two troops here are going to be giving you lots of yellow mana. This guy's giving you 7 and also damaging somebody. This person is going to create even more yellow, boosted by the number of blues you destroy, so another 2 yellow every time you destroy a blue gem with this thing. This team will be a little bit rough, but you can use this to run all the way through. If you don't want to use a team like this, literally you could just put a Mountain Crusher in your top slot with a Titan, and then put literally anything you have underneath them that will attempt to work. That will also work. Then on Saturday, we get yet another pet rescue for yet another cosmetic pet. It is Valentini, I don't know. Valentini, sure. It's one of those. It's available Saturday, so make sure you get that. And lastly, I'll just mention that there is this whole event calendar thing going on right now. I don't know what exactly is going on in here, but you get a free thing on Valentine's Day itself, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled and tuned into the Valentine's Day event offer shop thing over here. Get your free thing on Valentine's Day. That's their gift to you. And there you have it. This week is kind of wild, you know, free stuff in the Valentine's shop, the cool crazy new troop, lots of weapon availability, and the night class is slightly less terrible. What a wild week. Some love indeed from the developers, I guess. But that's all I got going on for you guys this week. Switch folks, tune in right now. Switch folks, you guys have yourselves an invasion event this time around, and in that shop you can get yourself a Captain's Cutlass at tier 3. This is a mix type based on rogues, so it is always recommended that you get every single event weapon that you ever can. These mix ones are especially higher value because eventually, if not immediately, they will be useful. Rogue team's not the best, however, you should go into that shop and make sure you get yourself a Captain's Cut. The glory troop that you guys get this time around is Quick Paw Jack, so in the shop, in the glory rewards section, it's this dude. He steals gold and then does damage boosted by the stolen gold. This dude is weird. You basically will never use him, unfortunately, because trading gold with your enemy is super unreliable. So in terms of what the troop does, not the best. He does start fast, he is agile, but don't get your panties in a twist over Quick Paw Jack. I'd get yourself a copy and go about your day. In the event keys for you guys, it is the Black Hawk Kingdom, which means that Megavore is in there as the mythic, so if you're opening up event keys, Megavore is super nice, destroying all enemy armor and doing a ton of damage, and then he just submerges himself for funsies, and you might just kill people on 4 or 5 matches. So event keys this time around, Megavore super useful, Kraken pretty useful, Skyla, whatever, kinda useful. Everyone else in here is kinda whatever. Deckhand is a decent mana generator sometimes. Parrot is a bounty troop if you need some of those. But, oh yeah, Scurvy Sea Dog, super useful actually, Empowered Converter. So if you don't have a Empowered Converter for blue mana just yet, Scurvy Sea Dog also useful. So for you guys, Black Hawk is not the worst kingdom to be opening up event keys for. The Mythic is decent, the troops in here are pretty darn solid. So that is your event keys. In the Soul Forge for you guys, Wild Queen is in there, who is definitely the best one to pick up as far as all of the troops in the Soul Forge this time around. She is a massively good damage dealer by stealing a ton of attack and then giving it to your first ally and then creating a mix of skulls and green. This whole other section is kinda whatever. Beware the Bone Storm when someone on your team dies. But Wild Queen would be the highest priority craft as far as the Soul Forge is concerned this time around. However, there are also some other useful options. So we also get to have Arachnean Weaver in there, which is pretty solid as well. Some people swear by this troop. I'm not admittedly the hottest on it, but it is pretty darn good. So you web everybody on the other team, do true damage to the 2 last people, and then if you kill someone, you explode basically the whole board. And then, you know, if you kill people and you need a summon, it creates a web spinner, which is actually really nice because web spinner does a crap ton of skull damage. And it's stealthy and impervious. So this troop is very darn solid as well. I personally would prioritize the Wild Queen over Mr. Arachnean Weaver. However, they are both pretty darn solid. And lastly in there is Mr. Jotner. Jotner is deceptively pretty decent, and it's more because of this barrier thing, because getting barriers randomly all the time is great. However, this ability to just super nuke people is also pretty darn great. The boost on it is pretty solid. Giant allies are super easy to build around. So Jotner also pretty good. So of the 3 of them, I would definitely say that the first one you should get is Wild Queen, probably then Arachnean Weaver, and then probably Jotner, if you need to craft any of them. If you're saving those diamonds for something else, then please feel free to do so. In the Soul Forge for the weapons, there's Ocean's Protector. Do not be fooled by this weapon, it is not good. So this is eliminating all armor from an enemy, and then you gain life equal to the armor eliminated on a 1-to-1. So this is like really great if you just want to gain a lot of life and then do nothing as a result. So you can't do anything with the life that you gain by doing this per se. There's no like weapon that will turn your life into damage per se. So creating a ton of life for yourself doesn't really do much, unfortunately. I wouldn't say you shouldn't get this weapon, I'm just trying to tell you that this is not as good of a weapon as you might think it is. Like, of all of the event style weapons where you're turning armor into a stat, this is probably one of the worst ones. And it's not really synergized with anything else to turn it into damage somehow, so it's not going to help you kill anything. So I would not recommend you go nuts trying to get Ocean's Protector, but if you are a collector, there's your seashell right there. The last thing I'll mention is that on Tuesday you guys also get a Silver Necropolis event for the Faction Assault, which means that Life and Death as a weapon will be available for you in that shop. So make sure if you're looking to build yourself some good defense teams and you feel like being a piece of crap, which you probably should unfortunately for Guild Wars purposes, the Life and Death weapon will be available in the Faction Assault shop on Tuesday. And that's all I've got for all of you guys at this point. So again, I'll be streaming my Guild Wars fights every day. Make sure you join the Discord so you'll know exactly when. It's these times like normal, but then other times on the other days. We'll figure it out as we get there. But that's all I got for you guys. I love each and every one of you. Happy Valentine's Day from me to you. I'll be your Valentine's if you don't have one. Because who doesn't want to have a Valentine's on Valentine's Day? You know, people that probably hate the corporate holiday nonsense, probably. But if you do, I'll be your guy. But thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next week. Peace.